Aloha. I'm Dale Rosenfeld with another edition of Conscious Cannabis Conversations. We've been talking about a lot of different subjects with cannabis, and today we're going to focus on legalities. We have Wendy Gibson Viviani, cannabis nurse Wendy. We have an advocate who has been working diligently on dementia elements as well as legalities. Coach Chela has books, podcasts, extensive amount of knowledge based on real life experience. Today, we're going to be talking about the new legislation that's out there to try and stop us once again from using our medicine. When do you see a problem out there? What is the problem that you're seeing?
Well, cannabis nurses and cannabis pharmacists are mostly been talking about safety issues that have been in place for many years, actually, from the hemp-derived products, the synthetics in particular, not the whole plant naturally deprived medicines, but from the synthetics that people are making. And it has resulted in multiple problems, medical problems, people having to go to the ER, to the hospital, and even deaths that have been associated with using these hemp-derived synthetics. And so in an effort to regulate all of this, our legislators are trying to shut down all hemp-derived products pretty much. But I don't know if anyone's familiar with Dr. Sanjay Gupta's documentaries called Weed, and there's a whole series of those, and I suggest people go watch those to get a good foundation for what we're talking about. These are CBD, not only CBD products, but products that have their full spectrum or whole spectrum products. And Dr. Sanjay Gupta highlighted all of these in his documentaries and showing the CBD boom that started back in about 2016 or so. But Chela can fill you in on what's going on with the legislation and what the legislators are trying to do and what we can do to help preserve, to save the medicines for the people.
Save these medicines that the same way we had to change it from the 1900s when they were trying to take it all away from us. And did. And now we're understanding that there's medical, there's recreational, there's use by just the general population. Chela, what do you see as the problem going on right now with all of the legislation?
Yeah, well, thank you, Dale and Wendy. Thank you so much for having me today. This is such an important topic for me, for us, for all of us. Yes, of course, we want to eliminate the synthesized or semi-synthetic, I should say, THC products that are from hemp, but they're literally throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They want to get rid of all CBD products that have any THC in them, basically. The Miller Amendment to the Farm Bill is moving through the process federally. The Miller Amendment to the Farm Bill would limit THC content so low that it would no longer be effective in the way that we have all come to use it. So the full spectrum CBD oil currently has 0.3% THC. That's a very, very small amount. People using full spectrum CBD oil are not getting high. They're getting better. They're feeling better. The Miller Amendment to the Farm Bill, as well as California's AB 2223, could seriously limit access to full spectrum hemp CBD products that many patients, like managing seizures like my husband, or living with dementia like my dad, or a movement disorder like my sister, are using. These bills would cut THC content per serving to 0.25 milligrams and stop all finished products from having that 0.3% THC by weight. This means most full spectrum hemp CBD products, which usually have like a 20-to-1 CBD to THC ratio that has 1 milligram per serving, would be banned, not just in California, but nationally. If the Miller Amendment makes it into the Farm Bill, full spectrum hemp CBD would be banned nationwide. And so we wouldn't be able to get it through the mail. This would be catastrophic for children with autism, people fighting cancer. They want to force us to buy CBD products from dispensaries. Most dispensaries don't have CBD products. And the ones that they do have are so prohibitively expensive that people taking thousands of milligrams of CBD every month, like my husband, who takes 800 milligrams of CBD every day, my dad, who takes 400 milligrams of CBD every day, my sister also, that it would be impossible if we had to buy it from dispensaries, because they also charge in Los Angeles 40% tax. So taxes are usually 25 to 40% all over California. And also in California, 50% of the population doesn't even have access to dispensaries. So what do those people do? You know, I understand the aim, of course. We want to stop the misuse of the high THC synthetic products. Of course we do. They're dangerous. We want to keep things safe and legal and affordable. The CBD companies that we use, like Lazarus Naturals or Miriam's Hemp or Healer CBD, are all organically grown, third-party tested. These are the hemp companies doing the right thing. But they're sneaking in to this legislation that looks on the outside like it's just to protect the children and the population from these synthetically derived cannabinoids, but they're sneakily hiding the fact that they're also going to stop us from having access to full spectrum CBD oil that's helping so many people. So we really need people to jump in and tell their legislators their story.
Please.
So that specifically, what would you like to see people talking to their legislatures and telling them?
Sure. Well, I wrote letters to all of my electeds and I called all their offices. I also called all the members on the health committee to express to them why hemp-derived CBD is so important for me and my family. It's affordable. There's no 40% tax on it. It comes to me in the mail. These are all heavy access points. We cannot afford 22,000 milligrams of CBD oil every month if it's through a dispensary. We currently pay $77 for that.
And you're currently obtaining it where?
Lazarus Naturals, Miriam's Hemp, and Healer CBD.
And these are CBD companies that are allowed to mail it, to send it through the mail to anywhere in the United States.
Yes, because the 2018 Farm Bill unfortunately left big giant loopholes that are allowing this synthetic boom, but the full spectrum CBD with 0.3% THC, perfectly legal. So it can be shipped anywhere. It's regular sales tax. It isn't punitive, prohibitionist taxation like they have right now.
And these are the products that are being used for patients with epilepsy, with Alzheimer's, autism, cancer. We've got so many patients who are doing so well on these products, and it's a crime to make it.
It's terrifying.
It's just,
it is a crime. It's unconscionable.
It is.
So, okay, so let's say that, tell me one of your personal experiences, Chela, before we go on to getting the nuts and bolts of how to change this. But tell me a little bit about your personal background.
So my mom had Alzheimer's for nearly a decade. We found that cannabis helped better than anything, both CBD and THC. As my mother was passing, though, as she was dying, she was in active death, she had a really terrible death rattle. And I had read a study that showed that CBD helps morphine work better. So I got our 20-to-1 CBD and I gave her 5 milligrams just rubbed in between her lip and her gum. and her death rattle went away. I had to give it every hour, but she had no death rattle. She had the most peaceful passing the hospice chaplain had ever witnessed. My husband, with seizures starting last year, suddenly my husband started having seizures at 60, and he had seizures about the first time, then 3 weeks later, then 6 weeks later, and he had probably 5 or 6 seizures before he started getting the CBD at the level he needed it. So we started low and we moved up slowly and eventually got to around 10 milligrams per kilogram. So for him, that's around 800 milligrams per day. But now we are approaching 8 months seizure free
Wow.
because of this CBD.
And
So,
that is a low THC, high CBD,
yeah,
and you get it through the mail
yeah,
and no nonsense of dispensaries.
no,
This
third party
whole-
tested.
So clean.
Yes, so.
And
all
this
these-
whole
all these
amendment
safest-
would change it all for
Yep,
everyone.
all the safest medicines are gonna be wiped out.
Wiped out. And a lot of women, by the way, prefer CBD dominant products. A lot of women. So CBD is incredibly helpful for us and also people living with dementia, which also happen to be mostly women. So it's incredibly important to me and my family that we preserve full spectrum CBD oil in tinctures, capsules, patches, balms, salves, all the medical style products, suppositories, but the candy, the gummies, the drinks, I think, those are perfectly legit on the chopping block.
And
you know.
especially if they're made with synthetics.
Of course.
But
Absolutely, yes.
Are most of them made with synthetics, or are they more naturally derived?
The candies and the sodas are synthetically derived,
Wow. So
or
there's some-
semi-synthetic, yeah.
So there's the side effects as well. Because
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the bill on its face is to protect consumers against, pesticides and mold and toxins in hemp. And it regulates hemp like cannabis is regulated with third-party testing to make sure it's clean, except it goes way too far and takes away our medicine.
Yep.
Wendy, what do you have to say?
I agree 100%. I think we need to be loud and about this and appeal. I know that there's a congressional cannabis caucus who has been looking out for us for the past 10 years or so, but I don't know where they are on this one. It would be,
Yeah.
the two of them are retiring this year and but we should appeal to the highest levels. We should,
Yes.
we
Yes.
need all the support we can get. And right now, I mean, the loudest people are well, the person who started the petition is a cannabis clinician who has
Yes.
seen amazing results. She's a pediatrician, a cannabis clinician, Dr. Bonnie Goldstein in California, who primarily treats patients with autism, seizure disorders, and cancer. And anyways, her patients have gotten better using these hemp-derived products.
Yeah. I have hundreds of cancer patients who've gone from stage 4 to no evidence of disease with high dose CBD, CBG, and small amounts of THC.
Yeah.
So it's
the
extremely
government
important.
is just tripping over themselves
Yeah.
with ignorance on this. I think.
Well, they're being steered by cannabis business.
Okay.
So the cannabis business associations and their friends in other orgs who should be looking out for patients and consumers are not advocating for patients. They're advocating for business.
Yeah.
It's extremely frustrating to this patient.
That's really the bottom line, isn't it? That we
It
need
is.
to advocate for the patients, not advocate for money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to do that is signing the petition. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about the petition I am going to be putting it up here. You'll see it in the text underneath shortly. We want a petition to, let's see, to tell the story, to protect hemp CBD nationally from that Miller amendment, which would disallow us to use hemp CBD at all if it's
Yeah.
rolled right in with the synthetics.
Yeah, well, the petition that Dr. Goldstein started is actually specific to California. It's AB 2223, but anyone across the country can sign it.
Ah,
And then we need to set our sights on the Miller Amendment next. The most imminent is California. This is going to become a law in August. Like it'll be signed by the governor. They are all very, very hot for this bill. They say that they're going to make an amendment, but I have not heard what that amendment is going to be. So we need to keep signing this petition, calling our electeds, and anyone in other states needs to do the same, because this is already a law in Iowa. It was just passed. They defeated it in Maine. So I'm sure it's getting started in Hawaii too. I'm sure that the Hawaii Cannabis Industry Association is trying to get a similar bill crafted.
wow. You know, back in when it all started to go downhill, it was all about the money and it was all about producing enough paper from trees, not from hemp. And it was about making nylon rope, not hemp rope.
Mhm.
And now things are just being all thrown together without it really making any sense once again.
Yeah, so please sign the petition. Please contact your legislators, let them know what's going on and that this should not be the road that we go down.
Yeah,
And
they got to
give
hear
that
from voters.
explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to hear from voters, because
Yeah,
that's the
we
only
need-
thing.
Mhm.
That's the only power we have. There are no orgs on our side. We
There are
can't
no
go to
what?
our,
No
there are no
orgs?
organizations.
Oh,
Yeah,
orgs.
none of our normal cannabis organizations that we would go to get help with this are on our side.
How about
And is that
Americans for Safe Access?
I'm sorry, say again, Wendy?
Americans for Safe Access have a program called No Patient Left Behind. I would think it would
People
be
should
part of this.
contact them and ask them about this.
Yeah,
Yeah, people should definitely contact them.
Well,
I have.
even Normal is not even
Normal is all for this legislation.
because they're for dispensary.
What?
Yes,
Because
Yes.
that's really the difference.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I found out about this bill at a Normal lobby day in California on May 6th and just about fell out of my chair. I
bet.
raised my hand in the room full of dispensary owners and brands and said, no, you can't do this. I'm even a former member of the CCIA and said, you guys can't do this. I spoke to their lobbyist. I've done everything I possibly could to raise awareness around this. And I'm not breaking through. There's literally been one story in the LA Times, thank goodness for Dr. Bonnie and Charlotte Figge's mom. You know, there's very little public awareness about this travesty coming our way.
So let's get that word out. We'll all share this podcast. We'll share this
Yes.
video. Please share it. Please have people sign the petition. Wendy, what would you like to end with? Anything to say?
Thank you, Chela, for being a champion and bringing this to us here.
Of course. Thank you
We're-
so
we're
much for
hoping to-
having me.
Thank
Sure.
you. Chela, any last word?
I
Sign the
look forward to
petition.
talk. Yeah, sign the petition, call your electeds, get involved in this advocacy. It's extremely important. And if you'd like to buy a t-shirt that says Cannabis Helps, you can buy one at our website.
Right on. So coachchela.com.
Yes.
And we are so thrilled that Chela has come and joined us. She'll be on again talking about dementia, talking about cancer, talking about a number of different subjects. Please come back to us again and again, learn. It's funny, as a advocate myself, and I learn constantly, but I go back and edit these videos and I learn something new almost every time.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you, Wendy. Thank you, Chela. thank you, all of you out there who are doing something to protect our medicine.
Are people able to see our contact information?
I will put it up at the end. In fact, I'll do that right now.
Okay.
It will only have yours and mine on it, Wendy, but I'll be adding,
It's easy to find me at coachchela.com.
and I'll be posting that underneath
Very good.
our names
Okay.
Awesome.
and underneath this whole video when it's finished recording.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me today, ladies. Really, I'm very
Thank you.
inspired to continue this fight. So thanks a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you again.
Cool.
Aloha.
Aloha. Aloha.